I'm not feeling the probability is higher. That's the only thing.
Okay. And then in terms then, because everything is all relative, because if you put the normal thing, what you like the way you've been doing,
Yeah.
it won't be 5% of what you made, right? Probably
No.
it could be 50%, it could be 10%, it could be 25%.
Yeah, correct.
Because sometimes when we get shaken, that's when the
Mm.
confidence drops a little. And
Yeah.
then out of nowhere, by putting a little more in order to gain, for us to gain the confidence is
Yeah.
by having small positions in order to gain the confidence. Well, let's define confidence. What is confidence?
Confidence.
Knowledge.
Knowledge. What else?
Experience.
Experience. So we put it via Google to make it objective, the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, trust, the state of feeling certain about the truth of something.
Oh, being objective.
In order to be objective, right, in terms of the definition, to define. So it is a feeling of certainty in order to, to have that trust. Okay, I'm going to ask the same question. What is something when in trading that we need to embrace?
Sorry, mate. Sorry, what is that?
Oops. So what is that something that we need to embrace? In trading, what do we need to embrace?
Plan?
In trading, what do you need to embrace?
What the market's doing.
What is that, though? So what do we need to embrace? If you can get that, if you know that if you get that answer, then you get one of the key elements to successful trading.
You need to embrace that. You need to be in tune with the market and not the other way around.
But what do you need to embrace, though? When you say the market, you need to embrace the market, like in general, what are you trying to embrace within the market?
What the market's doing, the market's sentiment or movement.
See here? It is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. Something. It's a trust. So
Trust what the market's doing, and then
what is that market is doing?
Making your mindset in the same belief system that the market has.
Which is what, though? The truth of something. Because
It's
it is the
being
feeling. It is the feeling of certainty, right? The certain. We need to be certain. So in order to be confident, you need to be certain that something has to be done. But what is that something? What do we need to embrace? What do you need to embrace? Why are people always fearful or hesitant?
Because of lack of confidence.
Why, though? What is the source of the lack of confidence?
Oh, their inner being.
The disbelief in themselves, yeah.
Of what?
Self-trust, lack of trust.
Okay. I don't want to. I don't want to give you the answer yet. You need to keep digging. Think about it. What is
The
it?
disbelief or the lack of confidence in themselves.
In order for for the person to have lack of confidence of oneself, then there's an outer source on what's causing them to have lack of confidence.
Fear of being wrong.
Fear of being wrong, what else? So there is still something, fear of being wrong. So tie that into something. Even say, put it with buying a property, buying a business, starting a new sport and making it as a career or even as a hobby. You can play it and you start competing in league or in a club.
Just lack of experience.
You need to embrace, there's something in here. You need to embrace
The unknown.
the unknown, the future, right? The uncertainty of
Yeah.
events. The future is always uncertain and you need to embrace that. You know, once you embrace the uncertainty of the future, then it'll be easier for you as a trader to have a little bit more of that confidence, right? So in other words, here the feeling, the state of feeling certain. That's why someone is always seeking certainty from uncertain events. What would happen? So if you're seeking certainty and the future is uncertain, what happens?
Repeat that, I'm sorry.
You become unsure though because you can't know the future, so it's self-sabotage.
So if a person is seeking certainty where the future is uncertain, what happens?
They may become stagnant or paralyzed.
Okay, they become stagnant, they become paralyzed, and why do they, be stagnant or paralyzed?
Because they're wondering about something that hasn't happened yet and that they don't need to know what happens.
Then what causes that then?
A lack of faith.
Okay, lack of faith, what else? Lack of something, lack of faith. What else?
Knowledge.
I mean, the person can have the knowledge,
Right.
the person can have the experience, but if that person is still seeking certainty where there's going to be a lot of uncertainty based on the future events, then what will happen? And that means that person is probably seeking righteousness. They want to be right, perfectionism, right? Want to be perfect. Because let's take, say, programming. It's an if and then statement. You program something, is there always going to be 100% result that you would know?
No, you don't know.
Yes, there would be, right? Let's take mathematics. 1 plus 1, the end result would be 2. It won't be 3, it won't be 4, it won't be negative 0. It is always going to be 2. But here, on the other hand, there's no such thing as 1 plus 1, it will become 2 that is going to go there. Is there a certainty that's going to be 2? No.
No.
Right? It could be 3, it can be 5, it can be 6, it can be 0, it can be negative 2, it could be anything. So
you have to be okay with, because you're just going to learn some things out of hindsight or out of your mistakes, and you have to be okay with that.
correct. Now, in terms of confidence, though, like now going back to the confidence level, you need to be confident with your own abilities.
Right.
That's the best that you can, right? Because if you're still seeking, like say for example, okay, because of the topic, from what JB was saying is that lack of confidence. Like he made 5% basically trading mini lots or micro lots. So it's all relative. And now my question is, why didn't he put more, or like the way how he's been trading in the past? Is because of lack of confidence the answer. So what is confidence? And that's where we define based on confidence. The lack of something is a feeling of certainty, right? That's a definition of confidence. So if you're not certain, here's now the trouble. If you feel uncertain in uncertain events, then what happens?
You lose your confidence.
Yeah, so your double lack of confidence. Lack of confidence with the uncertainty of events, and you're not certain within the uncertain events. This is where the fear also will be connected between the two.
Right. So you either getting in trades just to get in a trade, or you're not doing anything at all.
Correct. Because if you get, basically, if you lost 3 in a row, 3-0, then all of a sudden, the following week, you lost another 3-0. However, but if you, on the third time, now you're pretty much 6-0, but on the third week, you hit 4-0. But on the 4-0 where you're so confident, you have 3-0, 3-0, and now 4, now you're still down 6-4. But if you're still with the same level of confidence, you can beat that loss.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Now if you have 3-0, 3-0, and then 0-4, now you're putting here your level of confidence is 10, 10, then out of nowhere is 5, then you're still down. Okay, but if you have 10, 10, 10, at least you have only a deficit of 2. But if you go 10, 10, then out of nowhere your level of confidence is like, well, I feel good about these trades, but it's 20, even though you hit 4, but you hit 20, then 10, 10, then you're breaking even. Actually, you probably made money. Sorry, you made money. You're in plus 10. Do you guys get what I'm getting at? So what I'm trying to say is confidence is always going to be there within us. We measure our level of confidence based on our inner power of inner lacking of that confidence. But technically speaking, confidence level is always going to be there. It doesn't change. What changes is the way how we think about the level of confidence. So imagine if we have the power to change gravity. Sometimes you have the feeling of strong gravitational pull. Sometimes you have less gravitational pull. Imagine the amount of people floating right now, right? Some people will be floating, some people will be on the ground, some people will be flying probably even. So imagine if you can have that measurement. So discipline is always going to be there, confidence is always going to be there, motivation is always going to be there. Hence is why people are depressed, because they choose to be depressed. But in technically speaking, there's no such thing as depression. They just choose to be depressed. But they have the inner power to not to be depressed. Yeah, then scientists have made that research. Depression, is where they sell all these type of pills. It's a placebo effect, and they've proven that too. They took, they made a study, a group of so-called depressed people, and they went to the gym. Just being in the gym just for 1 hour, and then out of nowhere they measured all of a sudden they're no longer depressed. So, saying like placebo effect. If you choose not to be confident, you will not be confident. If you choose to be tired, then you will be tired. Remember, the mind will always follow. The body will follow what your mind tells you to. And it's a powerful thing about the human mind. It can do anything it wants to do. So in terms of confidence, you can if you choose not to trade because probably you're afraid. There are just probably different factors on why we lost during that time. And out of that, in terms of what we've established, look at the end result, JP. What was the difference now from what we've spoken last week compared from the previous weeks and months? Why do you think you profited pretty much, you made 100% trade, you profited 5% last week? What was the difference on what you did?
The tangible would probably be like my checklist again and being very meticulous.
Bingo. The word being meticulous. You still owe me $10 for it because there is one.
Yeah, come over and pick it up.
So the word meticulous, right?
Hey, JP, don't feel bad. He almost got me with that one today, too.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to knock on my door.
I owe lunch, by the way.
Yeah.
So see the word being meticulous, right? Just being careful in what we do, double checking, triple checking things makes a big difference. So in other words, is perfect example today at the Trader Dojo class. You know, in the word, what word was it, please, Jason?
Being responsible.
Bingo. To be responsible with our stuff, with our own actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in today's class today in the office, so similar, not being meticulous. So there was a plan to make approximately, I think it was extra 70 pips or 80 pips. Was it
60. Yeah,
60
60 on the pound dollar, yeah.
60 pips on a pound dollar, but we lost 40 pips.
Right.
So pretty much what we're trying to say here is that because of the lack of responsibility, then you lost 40 pips because Jason didn't put an OCR order in terms of the target point. So in the military, since Jason is in the military, it's like you're into a mission where you're going to save pretty much, you have 100 men, right? You have into a mission, you lost 40 out of your men, and all of a sudden you came home with only 60 men. When that happens, you go to jail, they sack you, big punishment, so forth, because you no longer have the lack of leadership, lack of responsibility. However, on the other hand, that if you're in a mission to save 200 men, but part of that mission is that you're going to lose 40 men, then that's okay, right? Because if you know that you're willing to risk 40 pips to gain 200 pips, there's a probability that you're going to lose 40 pips. That is your stop loss. So as part of the planning is that, hey, we're going to, we have a mission, part of the plan. I'm willing to risk 40 men in order to gain the hostage of 200 men. Then that's okay. That's only if you choose to. That is your risk management. Right? So that's why if you're meticulous, you take full responsibility within your own actions, then that's not going to happen. So in other words, since we've proven that experiment, JP, what's your plan for this week?
Just like I mentioned before, I've already increased the lot sizes this week. So, and because I was going to do it for April, but I thought I'll just start a little bit earlier. But the confidence is better than last week and obviously the month before. So I'm very happy with the way things have gone so far. But the last thing I like to do now is increase that lot sizing back to where it should be.
All right, to increase lot sizes, but still, what do we need to do? What do you need to do for this week?
I need to trade. I need to follow my process. I need to do the checklist and just continue to be meticulous.
There you go. Replicate, right? Replication. To replicate the same process, and what is that process? Is to be meticulous, follow your own set of rules, and that is it pretty much. So imagine you can do that over and over again, over and over for the next 50 weeks. Actually, we're probably less than that, 40 and something weeks. Then whatever you lost pretty much February and probably some of January. See, we're now close to the end of March. We have 9 months. So if you just replicate everything based on 9 months, guarantee you will eliminate the 2 months that was on the loss. Likewise, the same for Jason, Anthony, or Lilitha as a form of exercise. So being meticulous is so important. Excellent, cool. Any feedback, please, for JP? Nothing. Right, so we covered about being the level of confidence. How about you, Jason? How was your result from last week?
It was good. I took action. I was a bit hasty, like we discussed today about being irresponsible. Um, and so a lot of the trading checklists were rushed when I should have just taken the time to analyze and be meticulous and fill the trading checklists out to the standard. And then that makes entry easy because now I already have the plan and it's just executing without thinking about it. And I still took action. I still made profits, although my profits were limited because of my irresponsibility like we discussed earlier. So lesson learned, especially from today, so it was all worth it.
All right, cool. Excellent. So what is your plan then now for this week?
So the plan for this week is to improve what was discussed earlier and basically pay very close attention to the trading checklist when I fill it out, and be aware of my level of responsibility and meticulousness. And I'll do that by double checking the checklist and triple checking it before I actually send the order out and make sure I have all the components that I need, from everything from the macro fundamentals to my targets set up. And then that way, when the checklist is complete and it's been double checked, then it's just a matter of executing the order.
All right, perfect. Excellent. All right, Lolita, how about yourself? What is your plan for this week?
Last week I did really well with the trades that I did enter. As far as the trading checklist, I mean, it's just part of my nature to be meticulous. But there's one thing that, like copying the multiple time frames as far as the charts, what I did instead of doing that on my checklist was that I would put like weekly, and I would say that it was bearish instead of copying the chart itself like it says on the form to do. So I'm not sure if that loses points for me, but I probably should just go ahead and do what the trading checklist says instead of trying to skip parts. But it's been good because I've been learning from other from other people making mistakes, which has helped me because I can see how easy it is just to not look at your trading checklist and, copy and paste. But I always use a blank form. I never, copy over a previous chart checklist. So maybe that's what's been helping me not to skip steps.
Very nice. Excellent. Cool. So see how we can learn from each other, right? So very much understanding to everyone that you can change the format to your own liking, provided that the bid you have type is still in there, and you can add different things if you want to, by all means, whatever that suits you. But if the process is being missed, then definitely there's going to be a problem there, right? So, yeah, excellent, cool. Anthony, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice. How about yourself? What's your plan for this week?
Well, definitely it's going to be more meticulous with my trades. I didn't have a particularly good week last week. I think I won I think it was like 4 out of 7 or something like that. The other thing is that I just finished studying this one. I just come to realize that basically I have a lot of inputs in my life, and I just need to have a system to kind of organize all my information, and I finally found that, so I'm putting that to work. And the plan for this week will be to attend the observer class and to keep track of my trades a little bit better, and to be more meticulous with the checklist.
Gotcha.
Those three things.
When you say 4 out of 7, you say you won 4, you lost 3?
Let me just double check.
Dude, Anthony, you should just quit your job like me and Lolita did and just trade full-time like us.
That way the best, mate.
Dude, you'll have all the time you need, buddy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's not funny, Jason.
Yeah, I won
It's
4
working
out
for
of
us.
3. But I think overall it's just, I think the winners have not been as good as the losers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's put me down a little bit. So that's it. I think what I really took in stride was I need to be sure that I'm going to win the trade. So I don't know if I'm being a little bit too greedy,
Uh-huh.
or my hopes are up too high up. But I'm pretty sure that I'm being I'm looking at the charts and kind of looking at the price patterns, and I feel like my targets are not like overly aggressive, but I haven't been too meticulous with the trading checklist, so I'm gonna get that a little bit together, and we'll see how it turns out this week. And I'm gonna probably have to review the trade.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be the plan for the week.
Can you guys do me a favor, because I know that it will definitely help everyone. I believe I know Lilith having issues in terms of the attachment, but I still highly recommend to put it over here so everybody can see it. For some reason, at the very beginning, it was working very well. Everybody was putting in there, then all of a sudden, everybody's making money, and people giving people feedback, and out of nowhere, boom, it just basically stopped for some reason. Evernote, I don't know what that is, but it's asking to subscribe or to log in. Is it
Yeah,
safe?
I couldn't open Anthony's at all.
Yeah. So
It didn't even, yeah.
any possibility, Anthony, just to, I don't know, like make it easier for everybody. If it's something like probably in a document or something like that to make it easier for everyone. Or
Let me.
Reynaldo, this site, I find it to be so unforgiving. I mean, really.
Okay.
I mean,
It's not that bad.
who Evernote?
well, I haven't been able to upload anything since my first one.
Who's having challenges uploading in here?
I'm having trouble with pictures.
Having pictures?
Yeah, I don't know. It's what I'm gonna do for you guys is because I cannot, I don't think it's easy for me to track my trades if I put them into this thing and keep them updated, because that's what I want to do every day. So I'm gonna basically, the way the Evernote works is that the way I said it is that I gave permissions to people's emails, but I can open it up publicly, so you guys can take a look at it publicly. But the only reason why I didn't do that initially is because I think some of the screenshots I took, they had my account information and stuff like that for FXDM, so I didn't want to include that in it.
No, absolutely.
Can you copy it in a PDF though? Can you change it or no?
Yeah, I can do that, but I can do that.
So in other words, try to simplify something.
Okay, but here's the thing: is if I'm going to be doing that, you guys have to review the trade though, because.
Gotcha. All right, let's have a look. You said 4 wins, 3 losses. That's still pretty good, right? That's more than 50%. What is it, 58, 57, close to 60%? Give me one of the trades that you did. Give me one winning trade and one losing trade. Let's have a quick look.
Okay. Kiwi dollar was my best trade last week.
Already, Kiwi dollar. What time frame?
Daily.
Okay. What price?
It was an M3 setup, and
Okay.
I entered on the 18th. that was a good one.
Okay. Give me one of the losing trades then.
A losing trade would be dollar yen. M1 setup on the daily to go long on the 21st. And I got closed out on the 25th.
Today? The 25th?
Yeah, I suppose it was this over Sunday or this Monday, this morning.
Okay.
Double checking. It doesn't. It doesn't show on my thing anymore. And I also lost the Aussie
dollar?
I think I went in a little. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I know what I did wrong there. So I shorted that one, but then it went past the secondary uptrend.
All right. Overall, was it a positive or negative?
Overall, it was a negative.
Is it because of your losses are bigger than the wins?
Yes.
The position size the same?
Yes.
Are the risk management the same?
No.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Exactly. That's the only way, right? Because if you're, say, for example, only willing to risk $200, then you have 7 trades. 200 times, in actual fact, you had 4 winning trades, so 200. So at least if you made more than $200, so let's take 200 for example, times 4, that's 800, right? Now you lost 3 times 3, then you should be up $200.
Mm-hmm.
So
is that the approach that, I mean, is that what we recommend? Because, I mean, I feel like I'm jumping between, like I'm trying to stick with position sizes versus the percentages, and I'm just, I mean, from your opinion, I suppose, it's better to just do the percentages per trade. Because, I mean, if that's the case, then what's the, like, I don't really see the purpose of, you know, I guess distinguishing between a trade, like, you know, a more volatile pair versus maybe one that's not as volatile. Like, wouldn't you like to benefit from a more volatile pair and get the, you know, accumulate the pips? Because I don't know, like from my understanding or up till this point, it was kind of encouraged, like, you should be focusing more on, you know, collecting pips versus, you know, that was the advice, or that's from the conditioning that I have right now.
all right. So firstly, who gave you that advice that you should be accumulating pips?
Was that from our first program, Anthony?
It was there, and just reading, and, you know, a lot of places kind of just, I mean, I'm not saying that it was, you know, Reynaldo or anything like that, but that's just something that I guess internally or something that is
right. I can remember them saying that in our first, well, when Anthony and I met, that was one of their big ways of how they taught.
Well, the problem is, what if you can't accumulate the amount of pips that you should be accumulating?
Right.
You know what I mean? All right, JP, you work in an institution. What do they do in terms of risk management? Do they accumulate the amount of shares or profit that they do, or they have a risk management point of view calculation put in place?
Calculation put in place.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, I mean, there's no right or wrong, whatever works for you, but in terms of a logical perspective, like anybody can calculate in pips, but what if, once again, you get overconfident, all of a sudden you increase in position size, then out of nowhere, the increase in position size, say you lost 40 pips, but you increased position size times 3. Then everything that in terms of the accumulation that you put in, you just lost it.
right.
If you know what I mean? I mean, because it's not logical just to think that okay, you're going to accumulate amount of pips. What if you can't accumulate the amount of pips? Because remember, there's no certainty in the marketplace. You need to create some form of how much you're willing to risk per trade. It's like similar, like I was telling Jason. If you're creating a mission, if there's a mission that you got to go through and you're at war, there might be hostages, like there's 200 in there, but you only 100 men that can go through within that mission because you don't have the manpower. But as part of the mission, you as the leader, and you'd be talking with the rest of the general and the president, basically, well, there is a probability that you can lose 40 of your men in order to get the 200 men that you're trying to save. So, what if you can't even get all the 200 men and you lost all 80 men, or probably 100 men, right? What if the mission failed because you're not being responsible and so forth? Anything can happen. What if, there's a wind or, I don't know, a storm or whatnot part of that mission? So, yeah, in terms of a calculation, you need to know exactly on how much you're willing to risk. And, like in terms of I don't know, I'm very logical, and I like numbers as a physicist and a mathematician. I mean, it is more objective to find risk management put in place and to basically state that, hey, you can see the numbers don't lie, right? In terms of the numbers, 200, say you want 4, 800. And a minimum, say you make 200. So it's even, this is a one-to-one relationship. 1-to-1, you lost 3, 600, and therefore you pretty much gain 200. But if you're calculating the amount of pips, what if you can't, like I said, you can't produce that? So just imagine now if you have a minimum of 1 to 1.5, even 2-to-1 relationship. So even if you lost 3 in a row, but let's say for theoretical perspective, $400, because it's 2-to-1 for out of those 4 trades that you made times 4, that's 1,600, right? Now you lost 3, 200. Oops, 200 times 3, 6, minus 1,600, then you're up 1,200. I'm sorry, $1,000, right? So that is more logical in my own perspective. So I mean, you already tried it. It's not working for you, change it. If it's working for you, don't change it. But if it's not working, change it. And you need to change the strategy. And that means that strategy is not working for you, because you win. Yeah, so go ahead, Louis.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry, Reynaldo. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm trying to say that if you won 4 and you lost 3, you should be on the upside, not on the downside.
Another thing, Anthony, I just want...
The winning trades, too, some of them didn't reach the original intended target because I was, I adapted, so I just closed out the position. So I mean, it was like it's just not as, it didn't fulfill the initial, basically the initial target. I think that's what occurred on some of them. And also the other factor is that the time frames, well, actually, no, that shouldn't make it be an issue because I was only trading on the daily. So, okay, I will I will play with the, or I'll do the percentages this week, and we'll see how that works out.
Go ahead, Lilith. You're able to say something.
I was going to add, Anthony, be patient with yourself because it's going to take perseverance, and you're learning right now. And so just like when we first started and you had suggested that a book from Steve Jobs, because you're an IT person, so I'm sure you look up to him, and he didn't win his very first time either. And so, it's going to take some patience and some perseverance. If you are learning from your mistakes, that right there is gold. because it's going to make you a better trader.
Right.
And so you're not going to win all your trades. Even Reynaldo, with his knowledge, I mean, he loses trades too.
Absolutely.
So, you know, just, yeah, you're going to have to be patient. And when you're down, just get out of the game for a little bit. You know? You don't have to trade every single day at every single moment. Take some breaths in between, you know? Really.
Yeah.
Because if your confidence, if that's you losing, you know, for your trades, when you did gain, you know, then take a breath.
Now the question as well is that for the first 2 months, what's the difference now, Anthony? What changed in your performance?
Well, the nice thing about the first 2 months is, you know, despite how crazy the holidays was, it was, I had a lot more time to kind of to focus on trading, and then that changed, and then I decided to kind of, things are starting to pick up again, so I'm actually really happy where we are. But so February, the entirety of February, it was I stopped a lot of bad habits and added some new good habits. So it was just a very stressful period for me, and I'm pretty sure that definitely affected my trading. And also in February, the trading environment was pretty crazy. I just wasn't familiar. I just not experienced in that sort of environment. So it was. I would say it's those two things. Yeah.
All right. So
I had one of my mentors years ago. He gave me a bit of advice as far as career, and he was saying, you know, Lolita, when people give you accolades, don't eat your whole cake the same day. You know, because people will hosanna you, but just around the corner there's a crucifixion. So you need some of that cake during that crucifixion to cheer you up, to get you through that time. So, you know, when you have, you know, a few wins in a row, don't eat your cake those first days. Save some.
Yeah.
For when the trade goes the opposite way.
Yeah. No, I understand. Like, I'm very happy with where I am with my trading. Actually, like, despite, you know, or everything, it's still very good for me. Like.
Okay, cool. That's all that matters then. But like I said, you know, whatever is working for you, don't change it. Okay, because it's part of self-sabotaging. Nice. Cool. This is a great discussion group today. Anything else that we need to go through before we can go to the next class? Nothing?
Nope.
Beautiful. Nice. All right. Then at least we have 10 minutes. We can have a bit of a quick of a break, and then we'll see you in the next class.
Cool.
Well done, guys. Keep it up. All right.
Thank you, Ray.
Adios. Well done. Bye.
Bye-bye.